Hey guys, this is Kyle Johnston with the Toronto Blue Jays, and you are watching the Walk-Off with Scott and Adam.
So excited to be joined by today's guest, pitcher for the Toronto Blue Jays organization last year, finishing up the season with the AAA Buffalo Bison, Kyle Johnston. Welcome to the Walk-Off, man. Thanks so much for taking the time.
Thank you, Scott. Glad to be here.
Yeah, buddy, we're excited to chat some ball with you. And before we even get into this, I did want to say congratulations on one heck of a season in 2021. I mean, dude, you pitched to an ERA of 1.57, career year, looking pretty good.
Appreciate it, Scott. Thank you. No, it was a lot of fun. Blessed to be on the teams I was on, the guys I had around me playing defense and supporting me and run support and everything. But coaching staffs, training staffs, everybody. It was a total team effort. I was very blessed. It was kind of like all right, it's a make it or break it type of thing. So, heck of a year. Glad it happened.
Yeah, way better to make it.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
You back in Texas, my man? Are you home for the off season, or where you at? Yeah, you are.
Yeah, we're down in Flower Mound, Texas right now. So just north of Brown Grapevine Lake, northwest of Dallas. So in and out of Fort Worth at the gym. So,
I mean, I know you're a Texas boy, but also the Longhorn right behind you there kind of gives you away.
Oh yeah, absolutely. No, it was. I was actually surprising fact. I was actually born in Massachusetts. Topsfield, Massachusetts, and we moved down here. Me and my mom, dad, younger brother, all moved down here. I was about 3 years old. So I've been in Texas for 22, going on 23 years now. So I'm practically a Texan, freaking born up north, came down south, happy to be here.
Well, you're a seasoned vet down south, but born up in hockey country. Look at that.
Oh yeah, definitely. No, my dad always tells me if we stayed up there, I would have definitely been a hockey player. So we're you never know, but glad we made the road down south. Baseball is pretty fun.
Yeah, isn't it? So Kyle, we do have some listener questions for you that we'll get to at the end, but I did want to start with talking about 2019 because, buddy, what a wild year for you just in life, right? Like, you spent the majority of your season with the Washington Nationals organization, and then you got moved at the trade deadline to Toronto for Daniel Hudson's as the Nats, bolstering their bullpen for what was eventually a World Series championship. So you leave the only organization you've ever known to join one from a different country. What was that experience like? Kind of take us through the thought process as this information was given to you.
Yeah, no, the whole day itself, it was a total whirlwind. I mean, I wake up at 10, 11 o'clock, ready to start. My start day against, I think it was Salem. So getting 12:30 rolls around, I get a call from my pitching coach to say, Kyle, I need you to come to the field early. I can't really tell you anything. Just you gotta come to the field early. Like, all right. Sounds kind of weird. So I text one or two of my teammates. I'm like, hey, we supposed to rain today? Like, moving the game up a little bit. Like, I don't know if there's some sort of situation. They're like, I don't know what the heck you're talking about. I was like, all right, never mind. So
they're like, nobody called us, Kyle.
Yeah, they're like, what the heck you talking about? Okay. So I'm thinking nothing of it because, at the time, Will Crow was with us. A couple other guys that were higher prospects that were real rumors at the deadline on our team. And so I'm just kind of thinking, it's not whatever, like keep going, see how it goes. And I get a call from Doug Harris, our farm director, and I didn't have the number saved. I don't know how, but I answer the phone. I'm like, hello? He's like, hey, Kyle, this is Doug. I'm like, Doug? Yeah, Doug Harris was like, hey, Doug, hey,
not even cluing in.
Great. Yeah, like, oh my gosh. And he's like, hey, listen, man, we've been traded to the Toronto Blue Jays. Thank you for everything, and so on, and talked for a little bit. And I'm halfway to the field, and I'm just, like shaking with adrenaline. Like, I don't even know how to respond to this. Like, what? So what now? Like all these questions. And call my agent, call my parents, and before, like, I'm on the phone with our farm director before anything can happen. He's like, it's not been released yet or whatever. As I'm on the phone, one of my best friend's dads texts me, goes, so is this a good move? Like, he knows before anybody. And I'm just like, how, like, how do you know this? Like, okay, whatever, Bob. Like,
You're
we'll
getting
figure it out.
texts as you're
Yeah,
still on the call with the farm
yeah,
director. I love it.
It was crazy. It was just one text. Like nobody else knew. It was just the one guy. It was
Yeah.
crazy. So driving to the field, like getting a couple calls, texts, Twitter's blowing up, and I'm still driving down the road. Like I gotta go straight. Like I can't crash. Uh, get to the field, it's all over MLB Network and everything, and everybody in the locker room is just like, "Well, see you later." Like whatever.
Yeah.
Like it was wild because that locker room was so close. Trip and
Mhm.
Sammy, Louie holding it down with the coaching staff. Just everybody was really close. I felt like a family. Like that's the best part about the minor leagues, in my opinion. Some of the teams you get blessed to be with, that the camaraderie, a day in, day out, all the days together leading up. Um, you get close to a lot of those guys. So it was a pretty emotional day, all in all, getting the calls, from Gil Kim and Jim Sakowski saying, "Hey, welcome to the Blue Jays. We'll get your car shipped down here, get you on a
Mhm.
flight. Come on down to Florida, I'll get you, set up." But saying goodbye to those guys, like obviously it was tough, but it
Mhm.
was crazy, like coming full circle, like leading up to actually get to see them in AAA this year. So that was cool to see them for a whole week and everything. So kind of that turnaround and seeing some guys going up, getting traded, and so on. So it was cool. But um, yeah, so coming down to Florida, obviously weather change, hot as heck.
Yeah.
Humidity was wild in Florida
So
State League.
humid.
But no, it was cool to get close with Cesar and Cy. Um, Seeing Matty Young, who was actually living in Texas at the time, was our hitting coach in high A. So I got to see him. I think it was 6-7 months prior. Like, yeah, good luck this year. See you later, whatever. And see him in the same dugout. It's like, well, what's going on?
It must
But
have been such mixed emotions, eh? Because on one hand, you're saying goodbye to all these really close friends that you kind of were in the grind with and moving up the ranks. But then on the other hand, another organization wanted you enough that they're like, that's the guy, right?
yeah, no, definitely. And of course, hearing that praise from an organization saying, we want this guy out of everybody that they could have chose from, and all the talent that was left and right of me. Like it was, one hand, it's like, wow, okay, that stands out. Like, hell yeah, I'm in. Let's go. And the other part, it's like, it's humbling. So,
Yeah.
I'm really thankful for it. I'm just following the road that God's paving for us, and you just got to keep going. So,
I really like how you brought up how close the minor leagues get, and that is something that you really enjoy about this, you know, adventure you're on, I guess, on your way up the
mhm.
pro baseball ranks. And it's funny, Adam and I are stand up comedians, so I really relate to that in that when you're first starting out and the guys that you're kind of coming up with and like
Mhm.
getting those like growing pains out with, how close you get because you're dealing with the same struggles, right? And it's not that you as you move up the ranks can't still relate to the guys that are first starting in low A or
Right,
whatever, but
right,
you're kind of past that part of the journey, right?
right. Yeah. Give you an example with Jerry McKinney. We got drafted together 2017. Go to Auburn, short season. End up going to Hagerstown together in 2018. End up going. He goes to Potomac early. We all kind of like, oh my gosh, like congrats, we're happy for you. See him towards the end of the year again, 2019. We're both in Potomac, get traded. Like that was one of the emotional parts. And he calls me probably 6 months ago. He says, "Hey man, I want you to be in my wedding." So it's like seeing
Awesome.
seeing those types of relationships, unfold with multiple guys, and it's like across states and everything. Flying to see everybody, whatever you can do, driving, everything. To get that type of call, it's like that relationship built. Haven't seen them in 2 years, talk on and off,
Yeah.
and it's like, hey, I need like come on, let's go. Like I miss
Yeah.
you, like let's do it. So it's really special, and that's just an example of some of the relationships you can build. But uh,
Absolutely.
and even Latin guys from different countries too. Those guys are just as goofy as anybody. Like it's funny to see their wild side. It's funny to see the serious side with the day in and day out work that they put in. Um, just the other day, one of the songs that Gabby Moreno played in the locker room every single day. I took a video of it. We were down in Laredo, Texas, doing a little bit of
Yeah.
hunting. I took a video and sent it to him. I was like, "Hey man, your song playing down here, man." Like, right here. And he texted me. He sent me a voice memo back. He's like, "I love it, bro. I missed you." Like it was hilarious. So
I love it. I love it.
Yeah. So
is the Moreno hype real? Is he as good as ever? You're like, yeah.
It's the front seat show I get. It's unbelievable. He's the real deal. But in the locker room, he's an even better person. Sometimes quiet to himself, getting his work in, but other times, goofing off with everybody. Apparently, he's a huge Bucks fan, which nobody could figure out. NBA Finals is going on in the middle of June. He's walking in with his Kimbo jersey, just, all right, we're the best. I'm just like, all right, man. Like, all right, let's do it.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was a good time.
So let's go back. Okay, 2020 spring training hits, and you're getting accustomed to. You're meeting your new teammates, right? Your coaches. You're getting a feel for the new environment, and then the apocalypse hits, and you wind up losing that whole minor league season. And I know a lot of guys. I mean, this was a heavy hit for a lot of minor leaguers, right? To continue to
definitely
see their development progress. But you came out of the gate in 2021, the best you may have ever looked. Tell me what you did in that lost season to continue to develop.
Well, I think it all started from the month of August with the ERA I had of, I think it was like a 10.5 or something that was almost embarrassing to the point where I, finally get back and it's just like, what the heck just happened? It was obviously you hit some type of rock bottom, mentally, physically, whatever it was, and you just kind of get back and you just kind of think, okay, like reset. Never happened to first month with the new team. Like obviously at the start you want to get off to, but I think that thought in my head of never wanting to feel that again kind of fueled that fire to get that off season to be one of the better off seasons, of put the extra work in, day in day out, be the first guy and last guy leave mentality, whether and the group we have now at APEC, it's awesome. The environment, the competitive fire, the mix of goofiness along with getting your stuff done, like it's awesome. So I think going through that whole off season, just having the mentality of being the best me, not putting the blinders on, getting the feet, chop wood, carry water, hitting the ground running, getting the work done. Just having that day in, day out mentality. And I think,
man,
just going in felt pretty.
Like, I love that positive mentality, dude. Because honestly, like, think about,
exactly.
Like, I can only imagine how hard it would be to have that August, right? You come on the new Blue Jays organization and you have 4 rough days, and then you don't get another opportunity to kind of rinse that out. For over a year, like a lot of people that would have been a negative, right? That would have been a detriment. And I love that you kind of put that spin on it.
Yeah. And so that 2020 summer, we spent it in Grapevine, me, Blake Rogers, Ty Dameron. There were a couple guys, different organizations. I could keep going. We actually ended up at TPA doing a little bit of live ABs and stuff, like a bat cage. It was literally the only facility that could be open. I think it was like started opening in, I think it was June or something, where they started opening some doors or whatever it was. And 5 guys in the weight room every single day. Like, all right, like we either got to make it ourselves, or we can slack off and not get it done and show up and not be ready. So it's either be ready every single day or don't. So put the work in, get back to APEC in the fall. Kept getting after it, show up in camp, and it's like, all right, like wherever you got me, don't care if I'm a starter, I don't care what it is. I just want to win. I want to get back to the winning culture. I want to get back to being with the teammates, being with the guys, being back to normal with, whatever normal is nowadays. But just, I think it was the pre-season meeting we had with our head coach, pitching coach, everybody, strength, dietitian, staff, just saying, all right, what's your goals this year? And I, looked at everybody and said, I just want to see everybody succeed. I want to see everybody be their best selves, because that's that's how you win. You know, it's winning culture. It's spread through getting through adversity with everybody. It's not, you know, pulling the same rope, being there for each
Mm-hmm.
other. I just, you know, getting that feeling again. It's one of the best things ever about the locker room, and I think that's what's more exciting. So, just telling everybody that just, you know, I want to win, and I think I'd put my best self out there and try to lead by example. And the guys we had in the starting rotation this year with Zach Logue, Maximo Castillo, Simeon, Luciano, some of the guys that came up from high A, and the guys in the bullpen. We kept it loose at times, but once that phone rang, it was time to go. You know, snap of the finger, and it's all right. Let's
Yeah.
rock. So,
What was that transition to starter to the bullpen like for you? Was it a difficult one to kind of reconcile, or was it one that you were just like, you know what, let's do it?
I think at that point, being in Double A, I didn't take it as a negative. I took it more as a okay. I can probably get up there faster. You know, whatever way it is, fastest to get up and be with the big league team, help them
Mm-hmm.
win. Um, if you see me as a long reliever, if you see me as a closer, if you see me as a starter, opener, I'll like I said, I'll put my best stuff out there. I'll put it out on the line. You know, once we're between the lines, it's just all right, mono, let's go. My guys versus you. So, but yeah, that transition it was smooth because at first we go from 5 innings, we go down to three. I think it was a long reliever kind of, you
Mm-hmm.
know, scheduled days off being in the minors. It's a little bit different than obviously big leagues. You got to be ready at all times, but just kind of taking care of little things because obviously we didn't have the 2020. You know, can't just jump back into being the, you know,
Mm-hmm.
full speed. All right, let's go. So being able to have kind of that scheduled back down to 3 innings, then okay, get back down to two. Like okay, let's go back to closer setup situation, or you know, uh, middle of fifth guys on base type situations, and you know, start mixing in the back to back, start mixing in the ninth inning, start mixing in all the different situations. And once we, you know, got those on the checklist, it's like all right, you're ready to rock, go AAA, and you know, keep doing you. And same thing, AAA, spot start, 1 inning deals, and with how big our roster was, it was okay. Get your inning a week, possibly two.
Yeah.
You know, show out, do your thing, and uh, it was awesome being with those guys too because it was almost challenging each other, being your best self. You know, knowing each starter is going to give you five strong, and then it's all right. Whose name's getting called and who's going to be the bad guy tonight? You know, who's shutting it down? Like, and it was cool to see everybody be like that, be that dog. So it was awesome.
Well, and that Bison's bullpen was
Awesome.
just
It was like that
unreal.
whole team from top to bottom,
Yeah.
from Casey Kendall leading the way to everybody in between to the bottom. It was unbelievable.
And man, you fit in well. Like your slider is filthy, and man, does it play up when you're coming out of the pen. Is that your favorite pitch to throw right now?
Yeah. I mean, I like them all. I'm
Yeah.
comfortable throwing anything, but it's always fun throwing it, I guess you could say.
I just love watching you throw it and just fool a guy, right? Like that fastball slider, man, it's just sometimes you can make guys look so bad.
Yeah, appreciate it. No, it's been something that's been in the works for a long time. You know, dating back to high school, I kind of always had the harder curveball or slurve, however you want to call it, slider. Um, Kind of changing grips back and forth in college,
Hmm.
going, you know, harder, slower with the velocity. Um, and then basically getting back into pro ball, it's like, all right, you got to find something that works. You got to get it going. You know, the lower levels obviously it work a little bit more, this and that, but
Yeah.
you know, once you get a little bit higher up, it's all right. What works and how do we get guys out? How do we get it done? So we've found something that works, and we're gonna keep it rolling.
That 2021 spring training when it started must have felt like heaven. Hey, like what was the
Oh my
atmosphere like?
gosh,
With just all the guys finally getting together after like a shut down minor league season.
it was like it was like everybody was hungry for just ass whooping. You know, just put it. I'm serious. No, it was. I remember talking to Austin Martin at one of our very first games against Portland. We were all in the locker room. I looked at him. I was like, dude, I'm just like let's go. Let's get that competitive fire going. Let's it's time to roll. And obviously that first game we blew up and scored however many in the first and so on. You know, win the game, and I'm getting our ass kicked the entire week. But I mean, no, just that feeling of getting that job done of, all right, let's go win. It doesn't matter how we do it. It doesn't matter which guy it is tonight, because somebody's gonna get it done. Who's gonna be the hero tonight. So it was awesome, just feeling that hunger from everybody, that almost that starvation of competitiveness, that energy of like, let's go. So
Yeah.
it was cool.
How was your experience in New Hampshire? Like, it's funny because you were with one of the Jays affiliates that pretty much the only one that had a real home with a real
Yeah.
fan base. What was that like?
I will say, just through the year with, living in hotels week to week, kind of the pack in, living in the suitcase, kind of, all right, moving back and forth by each week. That was probably the only part of the challenge, I would say, that goes along with it. Obviously, we're very lucky to have that situation and, what comes with it. But just kind of that to and from. But besides that, I mean, the home crowd, the fans being back as the year went on, obviously it was kind of closed down in the beginning, but, just that feeling of appreciation for just having that energy back in that environment. It was awesome. Some nights were more crowded than others. Obviously,
Yeah.
some people can't make it out on a Tuesday, but it's fine. No, but those weekend games in New Hampshire, man, it was fun. It was a good time. So
It's funny how it only takes a worldwide pandemic to shift your mind a little bit, eh? Like, I know even I look back on 2019 and had people told me as a comic that I would be renting a speaker system and playing backyards and stuff like that. I would have said, "Oh my God, this sounds awful," right? But like, then when I was in the thick of it,
yeah,
I was like, I'm just thankful to be playing to people. Like, it's so great that this is even
yeah,
happening, right? Like, you don't
exactly,
understand
exactly.
what you got until it's gone, I guess.
No, exactly. And that's something that a lot of people take advantage of too, including myself. Just that feeling that, it can really be gone in the snap of a finger,
Mm-hmm.
and you play every day like it's your last. And, I think a lot of guys really, really did that this year, and I think it showed. So, it was awesome to be in Manchester with all those fans, and, the appreciation coming back to the hotel since we were there and left center, seeing the people stay after for a couple of drinks, like, hey, great game
Yeah.
tonight, uh, getting different pictures from people taking pictures for the team, or, fans, being creative and making different videos for us and stuff. It was really cool. So, was always appreciative of it. And it was fun being up there in the Northeast again, spending off days in Boston, been that Boston area, going with, Brody, and I think it was Andrew McInvale, and,
Nice.
kind of take some trips, or me and Curtis, a couple other guys, going downtown, or, even going back up to family scene in Maine. So it was cool.
Yeah, that's very cool. And it's funny because yesterday we actually had the pleasure of sitting down and chatting with Robert DiBernardo, right, head of the mental performance for the Blue Jays
Mm-hmm.
there, and he mentioned that sometimes the biggest mental hurdles for players come when they're right on the cusp, right, of achieving that big league goal because you're so close. It's almost easy to get
Yep.
distracted, and after your call up to AAA, you pitched even better. Like, you put up even better numbers in AAA. How do you stay focused and not kind of succumb to that temptation of looking ahead and maybe being distracted by every little injury or misstep on that big team?
Well, there's two parts of it. It's that feeling, like I said back in 2019, that month of August, of that failure. It's almost like you have those memories of the grind, of the failure. We all talk about, baseball's a game of failure. You always have those thoughts in the back of your head, of that feeling of, I will not lose to that again. And I think it was even better to be with that team, and, seeing Brian Baker and Kirby Snead, Taylor Saucedo, Kevin Smith,
Yeah.
all these guys that are debuting, coming back, going back up, and meeting Trent Thornton, Ryan Barucki, Ross Stripling. I could go on,
Yeah.
all the guys that were up and down, doing, some rehab stuff, getting back with the team, and kind of just picking their brain, and, or even just kind of just watching from afar, whether it was like a bullpen, or, stuff in the weight room, whether it was the little things of getting work done, earlier than usual, or staying later, and kind of picking up on, okay, this is what I have to do to be successful here. This is what I have to do to lengthen the success, and keeping myself healthy, and keeping the little nagging things away. So it's just finding the little things to work on the body maintenance, and it all starts in the off season too. The guys you work out with, whether it's yourself or a group, and luckily at APEC we do a great job of doing the little things right. And I think picking up on those and bringing it with me in season, it's always great to even talk to teammates about the little things they do in the weight room too. So
Yeah.
just kind of almost experimenting at each other day with different things of, okay, maybe we try this earlier, we do this later, or pick days to contrast. And I think just kind of building your own plan is pretty cool. So
Do you find motivation in guys like Kirby Sneed and Taylor Sacedo? Like, we had Kirby on the show on Sunday, and he was just talking about what a boost Sauce getting that call up was for everybody. Like, and it was funny because when we had Taylor on the show, we were congratulating him, and one of the questions was like, at 28, a lot of guys would have given up, and his response was, "Oh, I quit. I'd already told everybody I'd quit."
Yeah.
And it was an old high school coach that talked me out of it. And we were just like, wow. Like, it's so funny how it's just like.
It's crazy.
Right? So can you get motivation from that sort of thing?
Oh my gosh. Seeing Brian Baker, I'll never forget it. The week we had in Scranton, 6-0, just total dominance. Everybody's just on full cylinders. Everybody's on green light go. And seeing him walk in and coming out of the office in tears, like, a little bit head down, and, picks his head up. I'll never forget the look, and just thinking, like, I can't wait
to experience that,
to feel that payoff. But I mean, that's obviously not the first thought. That's like, oh my gosh, like you deserve it. You're the best. Like, it was cool because they're all also like brothers, like at the end of the day, you want to see everybody succeed because everybody has their own career, right? And it's easy to be selfish. It's easy to be a bad teammate. It's easy to think, oh, it could have been me, and be negative. But being appreciative of those guys, it goes such a long way. And seeing that happen, it was awesome. And I'll never forget. Actually, that was the first week Reggie Pruitt got called up to AAA with us, and he looked at me that night afterwards. We got back to the hotel, and he said, "Man, seeing that just made me want it more, just that much more. Like, I want it so bad now." Like that's what I'm talking about. It just stems from that, like that drive, that feeling of it paying off, but also it's just starting. It's that milestone of all right, we hit that goal, and what's the next one? What's next? It's not we're satisfied at the top. It's how do we be the best at the top? How do we be the best selves for as long as we can? How can we make it prevail? So I think it was so special to be there for that, and I'll never forget it, especially now that they're gone with other teams. And wish them nothing but the best. Brian Baker, of course, and Reggie Pruitt also. But it just seeing that happen, there's nothing like it. It was awesome.
Tell me about August 9th. Tell me about when you got the call up to AAA. How did they break that news to you, and what was the emotion going on then?
Sunday day game, just finished up, I think, against Hartford. Thinking nothing of it. His trainer comes in Sunday afternoon, picking some stuff up from the bullpen. He said, "All right, come in." And me and Fitz walk in, and you kind of get the idea, like, okay, what's going on? And going to AAA and everything. Nothing changes. Keep being yourselves. You're not there yet. You're a call away. You're not there yet, and that was the biggest thing, is like, don't stop. And like, being with Fitz at the time, like I said, being the camaraderie in the locker room and the dugout and the bullpen, looking at each other afterwards, like, all right, man, like, we could be teammates at the top together. We may be different teams, whatever it is. Like, let's go, man. Like, push each other, be our best selves, like, compete, like, let's rock. And it was cool to kind of build that friendship along with that, going up together. It's special. So it was pretty sweet.
One of the funnier stories we've heard is when we had Fitz on the show, and we asked him about if there's a pitcher that he tries to emulate. And he was just like, well, my biggest thing is staying compact. So whenever I'm throwing, I like to think that I'm Marcus Stroman and I think small. And I'm just like, this is the funniest thing. Like,
They're all six. Yeah, that's so funny.
uh, it's so funny because, like, I mean, you're not a short dude, but my goodness, in that Bison's bullpen, you were one of the shorter guys.
It's it's wild. Oh my gosh. Standing there for national anthem, how do you think it feels every day? So great.
Just surrounded by giants.
Oh my gosh. And the funny thing is like Fitz standing out, he still stood out, obviously. He's 6'9", but
Yeah.
he's still Jacob Wagasback, who's 6'6" or whatever. You have
Yeah.
AJ Cole, you have Brian Baker, you have Saucedo, who's 6'4". Like everybody's just
Yeah.
freakishly large, and you're just like, all right, so how's it going? So it's hilarious. Me and Hobie are just hanging out on the bench together. It's like, all right, yeah, how's it going, man? You know, those guys down here.
So I'm very curious on your thoughts on RoboUmps because they're going into AAA this year, which means you're going to be one of the guinea pigs this year.
Yep.
Thoughts on RoboUmps, and do you think it might be tough for guys like yourself or other dudes with options that might be yo-yoed up and down a little bit to like adjust from RoboUmps to the actual MLB umps?
That's a great question, actually. Towards the end there, comparing the two, I think, hear horror stories from Low A last year. They were kind of the guinea pigs, hearing like recalibration stuff, and you hear the little kinks working out. And I think if they find a way to make it consistent, I don't think it's a terrible idea. But at the end of the day, what comes with baseball is a human element, right? There's that feeling of that decision making of one person to another. And obviously the umpires, like, you don't think of them during the game as being a part of it, but at the end of the day, they're there to control the game in a way. So, making those tough decisions, whether it's ball strike, out, safe, fair, foul, you name it, like, it's been a part of the game for generations. And why, my opinion, why change it? But if we're going to go this route, let's wing it. Why not? Let's test it out. If it goes bad, then hey, terrible idea. Toss it in the trash can. If it's a great idea, hey, it worked out. Congratulations. So I'm gonna be open minded to it. Like I said, I love the human element. I think if anything, instant replay maybe should be added versus ball or strike. Obviously you can't instant replay ball or strike, but I think you just have to look at it a different way versus safer out, fair, foul. It's just human element. That's how it is. But if they want to go that generate,
you're a lot calmer about this. You're a lot calmer about this than Taylor Saucedo. It's funny, we do this show every Sunday called Long Toss, and we have like a panel of guys. And Sauce was one of the guys on 2 weeks ago. And one of the guys was like, for gambling, for everything like this is why we need to do it. Why are we not going with the for sure thing? And Sauce rolled his eyes to the point where I was like,
just
I thought the top of his head was going to come right off.
Yeah. I mean, if that's the whole different point. I mean, you're looking at different aspects of it. You're looking at the actual athlete versus somebody who just wants to win some money, or if they had athletic, whatever. The gambling man's always going to want the easier route, more chanceful route. Obviously, gambling isn't obviously the best odds. I don't know. From an athlete perspective, like I said, human element, that's part of it. It's the adrenaline. It's the decision making. It's sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, but it's also some of the failure that comes with it, that you have to get adversity and get over it. So I don't know. Like I said, you're going to have an open mind to it, I guess. But
well, we'll see how it goes, I guess, right? Like,
yeah, I mean,
it's here now.
Like, yeah, exactly. How can I control that, right? So I don't really have the power to say yes or no. And, I'm not going to get on the mound. Oh, sorry. Get this out of here. Get that umpire in here. Let's go.
Yeah. So Kyle, I'll give you one more question here, and then we'll throw to Adam for some of the listener questions.
Let's do it.
When you look back on your pro ball career, is there like a piece of advice or an adjustment that a coach showed you, or even something that maybe you picked up watching someone else that was a bit of an aha moment for you? You know, just some wisdom imparted or maybe picked up that just made you a better ball player?
Oh my gosh. Uh, where do I start? I mean,
You're
you
like dozens of them.
yeah, I mean, there's different things you pick up at every level. I mean, we could start at summer camp before I left for short season talking to Paul Menhard about his time with Randy Johnson and the Mariners, or going to short season and talking to Tim Redding with his 17 total years, 9 in the majors, 8 in the minor, whatever it was,
Yeah.
and his successes and failures and what he learned, and go up to Low A and talk to uh, oh my gosh, Tim Redding again. Followed us up to Low A. So seeing him and building that relationship for that 2 years, um, it's the same thing. Like, he's watching you grow up. You're watching him grow up as a coach too. It's a totally different feeling than of being a player. And I think we were probably his 5th or 6th team or whatever it was. So kind of seeing him grow and talk to us, and go up to high with Sam Nairn, who had his time with the Rangers. Seeing like having our conversations of, always the what can I do to be promoted, or why are we not in Double A, or all those questions that your ego says, and having those conversations with Sammy, and he's always saying keep doing you, like your time will come. So it's all a part of the plan, and ended up going to Double A where like that year it was the trade. So like you said, a part of the plan, ended up going to the trade, seeing Cy, seeing Matty Young, seeing a whole new team with Casey Clemens, who I played with in college, seeing that aspect in minor league ball versus college ball, and picking up on those little things. Fast forward to next year, like I could go on. It's everything, little bit of everything. You pick up so many things from coaches, players. It's definitely a blessing. I'm definitely thankful and very humble to experience it.
Kyle, it has been such a pleasure to chat some ball with you, man. I've really enjoyed
Absolutely.
this, and we really appreciate you being so generous with your time.
Of
We do
course.
have listener questions, so we'll get to that. Adam, go ahead, buddy.
All right, so first one comes in from Andrea. This one is some baseball trivia for you. You were drafted by the Washington Nationals in 2017. What city was that franchise in before relocating to Washington?
I mean, was it not the Montreal Expos?
There
It
we
was.
go.
There you go. You got it. All right.
You just saved yourself a Canadian riot by pulling that
I was
one
gonna
up.
say, I was like, they're definitely Montreal. I was like, okay, we just talked about this. Cool. All right, 1-1.
Honestly, it's amazing how many young guys we've talked to who don't even know that Montreal had a franchise. So
Yeah, it's crazy. But I mean, also
it's been a long time.
of course, Vlad Guerrero. We also have Vlad Guerrero Jr., who's
Yes.
of course with our franchise and or with our team and everything, and seeing the highlights of his dad being with Montreal and so on, and like that's pretty sweet. So can't ever forget it.
All right. Next one comes from Jordan, who says, I saw a picture of you and none other than Brad Paisley at the gym on your Instagram. Are you a country music fan? And whether or not you are, what is your favorite Brad Paisley song?
Yeah, no, definitely a huge country music fan. Anything from Texas country. The pop stuff, we can kind of talk about it. It's a little bit, not everybody's favorite flavor. But kind of the nitty gritty stuff is always pretty good to hear, especially when you're out on the ranch with everybody.
Of course.
Favorite song from Brad Paisley. Oh gosh. I mean, if you really want to get the tears going, go Whiskey Lullaby, of course. If you want to have some drinking songs, you can go Riverbank. We can keep going. So,
Did you just run into him at the gym though, or how did that work out?
No, so he was performing in Austin. I think it was like a Thursday night, and he stopped by the baseball field, and we're all working out. Or I think at the time we just finished up practice. So it was either I just showed up for pre-practice or whatever it was. Obviously, I'm in street clothes. Everybody else is dressed. Shows up. I think he was tossing a little bit of weight around, kind of moving some iron, and he's honestly an awesome dude. It was kind of cool talking to him a little bit and picking his brain on how his career is going, obviously, and being back in Texas with Texas country and all that. So it was awesome.
Very cool. Yeah, very cool.
All right, this next one comes in from Sean. I'm working on watching a football game in every NFL stadium. This fall, I will be crossing Dallas and Houston off my list. Texas has a reputation for barbecue, so I'm just wondering if you have any can't miss recommendations for me for Texas barbecue while I'm down there.
Okay. So when you go down to Houston, you go to, I believe they will be open at this time.
I love how serious you just got. You're like, okay, this is
let me roll up my
business.
sleeves here.
No. This is serious. We gotta lock in. We're really talking about it now. Down in Houston, I think it's gonna be J Bar J Grill. I think they're opening their store February 24th this month down there. I'm pretty sure that was either supposed to be a little bit hidden or maybe not. Who knows? Surprise. That's going to happen. It's supposed to be a bunch of people there. It's supposed to be a great time. Head on down there. Jeremy Jeffers, JD, Alex Wilson. Great team over there. Do a great job with all that stuff. Now, come to Arlington. You can go different routes with this. Oh my gosh. Well, you got to check out Babe's Chicken. It's not really barbecue. It's just a bunch of fried chicken.
All right.
Great spot. Rudy's always is okay. It's kind of a chain. You're into chain and everything. Rudy's barbecue's pretty good. Oh my gosh. I'm thinking of places in Austin, but if you go down to Texan Stadium, Austin's kind of out of the way. Check out Rudy's on 35 on your way up to Dallas or on your way down, and that spot probably will treat you pretty nice. So
All right.
You can go different routes in Arlington with Heart 8 Barbecue. There's a couple other chains and everything. So yeah, definitely give it a shout. Or you can just call Brad over here at the house, and I'm sure he'll hook you up something at the grill.
Love it. Okay, appreciate that very thorough answer on such a serious question. So,
talking food here, baby.
Sean.
Yeah.
All right, two last questions here for you. So this one comes from Omar. Texas is obviously a football state. As a baseball star for the Longhorns, were you a celebrity on campus, or were baseball players more off the radar?
I personally can say there was no celebrity feel, in my opinion. I think with you kind of see a bunch of different athletes on campus, but a bunch of students kind of get used to it at the end of the day, and everybody's kind of friendly with everything and wishing you good luck. And obviously professors will give you some shit sometimes if you lose, and obviously they'll say great game if you win. That's just a part of it.
Yeah.
But no, at the end of the day, it just feels like a big family, with different classes and different stuff. And obviously some students you don't really talk to and so on, but other people come up and make discussion or get lunch after class, or run into each other in a different class, so on, if you have the same major. And so yeah, it was definitely a great time on campus, and I'll definitely never forget it.
It's always interesting to me how big of a deal like college sports is in the US, because we have college sports up in Canada here, but nobody seems to give a shit.
It's definitely where you're at and with the crowd, and there's definitely some sleepers in the Midwest that nobody really knows about, or if they do know, they're not big enough. And then down south with baseball, and go to Texas A&M for a midweek game, you think, oh, it's not going to be that loud, and it's sold out, and talking shit in batting practice. It's like, all right, this is it, let's do it. Nice. So it's all a part of it. You love it, so it's great.
All right. Well, last question here comes from Gino. Says, let's talk Texas Longhorns alumni. I'm looking at the list here, and not too many notable names for baseball, but one name in particular jumps out, Roger Clemens. What are your thoughts on the recent HOF snub on the Hall of Fame there?
Well, I think at the end of the day, he's definitely one guy that I have been very thankful for the advice that he's given me. Been able to work with him at school, playing with Casey and Cody, and kind of seeing their side, whether it's baseball side, family side. seeing how just amazing they are. And at the end of the day, like, it really does suck to see that happen. But, you know, like, I think God has a greater plan, and, you know, some things kind of that's just how it goes sometimes I mean, there's nothing you can really do about it. And,
Brutal snub
but
though. Like.
oh, dude, I mean, I definitely could sit here and say, wow, that's fucking awful. Like, you need to figure that out. Like, that's total BS. And I definitely would if, you know, we really want to get into it, but I'm just going to say, hey, it's, you know, it is what it is. You just got to keep going. I mean, at the end of the day, he's definitely one of the greatest of all time in our sport. I mean, 7 Cy
whether
Young,
he's in that,
really,
whether he's in Cooperstown or not, it's truly like a top 4 greatest pitchers of all time, probably, right? Like,
at the end of the day, whether you have a plaque or not, everybody's gonna know who you are, what you did for the sport, and, you know, idolizing parts of his game growing up. Like, it's seeing it full circle and meeting him and throwing bullpens with him. It's just like, this is a dream come true as it is, and you know, meeting the family and getting to know the family side. It's even, you know, them being so down to earth and just caring for one another, and it's amazing. So I really do feel bad that he got snubbed like that, and, you know, wish them well and praying for him, obviously. But at the end of the day, like, he's done a lot, and everybody's gonna know who he is for years to come. So
I'm sure he's doing just fine, right?
Yeah, I'm sure he's also he's hanging out. He's doing great.
All right. Well, that's all we got for listener questions. Thanks so much again for your time. This has just been
absolutely
an awesome time, so
it was great talking
Kyle,
to you
this
guys.
was great,
I appreciate
man.
it.
Hopefully we can have you back sometime. This was awesome.
Definitely. Just let me know. Ready to rock.